On Global TV News Express, Tinubu leads dignitaries to National Arcade for Armed Forces Remembrance Day celebration. JAMB accredits 747 CBT centers. Registration begins today. NAFDAC emphasizes need for efficient, seamless port clearance procedures. Torrential rains leave at least 11 dead in Brazil, plus policemen not permitted to search citizens' phones. Lagos CP cautions. Hello and welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to News Express on Global Television. We are live in the nation's capital, Abuja. I am Queen Agaba. President Bola Tinubu lead other high-profile dignitaries, including members of the diplomatic corps, to the venue of the Armed Forces Remembrance Day celebration in Abuja. The Armed Forces Remembrance Day celebration, an annual event organized by the Ministry of Defense to commemorate the country's fallen heroes who paid the ultimate sacrifice for the sake of humanity during the First and Second World Wars, the Nigerian Civil War, peace support operations around the world, as well as various internal security operations. All service chiefs, led by the Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Musa, and heads of other security agencies, among others, are to converge at the venue to grace the ceremony. President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, says President Ahmed Tinubu-led government is focused on ensuring that Nigeria remains an inseparable and indivisible entity. He stated this in his remarks at the interdenominational church service for the 2024 Armed Forces Remembrance Day celebration held at the National Christian Center, Abuja. Kike Lomo Kiri has details.
President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, says the continued existence of the country lies in its rich cultural, religious, and ethnic diversity. He therefore called on the people to embrace unity, stressing the resolve of the present administration to redouble its efforts in securing the country. Akpabio also asked Christendom and other stakeholders in the Nigerian project to join hands with Tinubu's government as well as the nation's armed forces to tackle the issue that have threatened the coexistence of the country.
I call upon the Church of God to partner with the government of the day in a much-needed rebranding of Nigeria. The Church is urged to continue spreading the gospel of love for oneself and also the gospel of love for one another and our dear country. We must blur the lines that divide us across ethnic and religious boundaries through messages of tolerance, peace, unity, and progress. This administration is more determined than ever to strengthen and promote the oneness and indivisibility of Nigeria, because the strength of our great nation lies in our diversity. Once again, let us salute the courage and appreciate the sacrifices of our men and women of the armed forces. Let us stand in solidarity with their families of the fallen heroes and heroines. I assure you that the government of the day will continue to evolve policies to address the challenges you face as a result of your losses.
Earlier in his remark, Archbishop of Abuja African Metropolitan Church, Archbishop Peter Ugumuyiwa, says insecurity persists in Nigeria because past service chiefs lived in affluence while they complained of lack of funds to fight insecurity. Adding that for Nigeria to be well secured, salaries and emoluments of military personnel and security agencies should be paid promptly.
These packages must be paid promptly. The salaries and emolument of the serving officers must also be paid promptly. If we expect that these people should secure our land, we expect so much from them. They say to whom much is expected, much is as well given. So I think we should not take for granted the salaries and emoluments of these wonderful officers, that when we are asleep, they are awake all night, ensuring that we live safely. I pray that the government will do something hastily. I know government is doing, but through budget allocation, the National Assembly should do more to ensure that these men and women that are defending our territory are well taken care of.
Meanwhile, encouraging troops to remain resolute in defeating security threats, Chief of Defense Staff promised to prioritize welfare and uphold his leadership philosophy of nurturing a professional armed forces that is people-centric and capable of meeting constitutional responsibility in a joint and collaborative environment. He assured Nigerians of the armed forces' unalloyed loyalty and commitment to defending the nation's democratic values and ensuring peace and cohesion in the country.
Security agencies cannot do it alone. Everybody must put hands on deck for us to succeed. So we're calling on all Nigerians to continue to support us in all we're doing. We might make mistakes, but they will never be deliberate. And we assure you that the government of the day is giving us all the full support that we require, and we will succeed. 2024 is our year of liberty, and we can guarantee you that we will achieve success.
Kike Lomo Ukeri, Global Television News.
Vice President Kashim Shettima has departed Abuja to represent Nigeria at the 2024 annual meeting of the World Economic Forum scheduled to hold in Davos, Switzerland. Stanley Nwocha, the Vice President's spokesman, who announced this in a statement, said Nigeria's number 2 man will join other political and business leaders across the world at the annual forum to discuss global, socio-economic and development issues. Top on Vice President Shettima's agenda, apart from the plenary session, is the launch of the Private Sector Action Plan for African Continental Free Trade Area at a special session to be co-chaired by him. He is also billed to hold high-level discussions with the Managing Director of IFC, Mactar Diop, and the Prime Minister of Vietnam, Pham Minh Chinh, among others. Also, on the sidelines of the annual meeting, Senator Shettima will chair a roundtable dialogue on Nigeria's economic path. He will also attend a special session dedicated to building trust in the Global Energy Transition Program. The Vice President is expected to return to Nigeria after participating in the week-long event. President Bola Tinubu on Monday celebrated former Osun State Governor and Chieftain of the All Progressives Congress, Chief Bisi Akande, at 85. This was contained in a statement signed by the Special Advisor to the President on Media and Publicity, Ajuri Ngelale. Akande, CFR, was the Governor of Osun State from 1999 to 2003 and the first interim National Chairman of the All Progressives Congress. Tinubu extolled Akande's defining principles of integrity, loyalty, truth, and justice, recalling his exemplary leadership, odyssey, and selfless service to Nigeria. Also, the presidency has described reports of cabinet reshuffling by President Bola Tinubu as a mere speculation. Special Advisor to the President on Media and Publicity, Ajuri Ngelale, disclosed this in an interview. Ngelale said a possible cabinet reshuffle by President Tinubu would have to wait until the ongoing investigation into the alleged fraud in the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Alleviation and its social investment programs have provided conclusive ends. Speaking further, the presidential spokesperson added that the president has since made it clear to all members of his administration within the Federal Executive Council and private meetings that he will not tolerate any form of indiscipline, corruption, dereliction of duty, or any other form of incompetence. The Code of Conduct Bureau has invited the Minister of Interior, Olubunmi Tunji Ojo, over the involvement of his company in an alleged 438 million naira contract scam uncovered in the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Alleviation. The CBB has commenced an investigation into the alleged breach of the Code of Conduct for Public Officers by the minister. A company, New Planet Project, allegedly belonging to the minister, benefited from an alleged contract scam from the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs. The CCB invited the embattled minister to appear before it on Tuesday, January 16, 2024 at the CCB headquarters, Federal Secretariat Complex in Abuja. Meanwhile, the Joint Admission and Matriculation Board has said registration for the 2024/2025 Universal Tertiary Matriculation Examinations will begin on Monday and end on February 24, 2024. JAMB has also rolled out the registration process for interested candidates across the country. The JAMB registrar, Ishaq Oloyede, during a meeting with media executives in Lagos State, said that measures have been put in place to ensure a smooth exercise. Oloyede noted that members of the accreditation team of the CBT centers for the 2024 UTME included the chief external examiners, VCs, rectors, provost, technical advisors, JAMB state coordinators, and JAMB technical officers. In a related development, the Joint Admission and Matriculation Board has said persons living with disability who wish to sit for the 2024 and 2025 Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examination can register at no cost. The JAMB registrar, Ishaq Oloyede, disclosed this while rolling out that the registration process for interested candidates across the country, while announcing that registration for the 2024 exam will commence on Monday. Oloyede said JAMB will issue free application documents to all categories of persons living with disability as a form of support. Oloyede, who disclosed that measures have been put in place to ensure smooth exercise for all candidates, said audiobooks will now be provided for all blind candidates. Some senior advocates of Nigeria and the coalition of united political parties have called for an amendment of the Electoral Act. This came following the judgment delivered by the Apex Courts on the Zamfara, Kano, and Plateau governorship election appeals. In addition, Justice John Okoro, who was also on the panel, expressed concern for those who have suffered a miscarriage of justice at the lower courts. On its part, the CUPP, in a statement by its National Secretary, Peter Ame, called for the amendment of the Constitution to allow all National Assembly appeals to terminate at the Apex Court. Moving on, the Rivers State House of Assembly is set to rescreen and reconfirm 9 former commissioners who resigned from the State Executive Council on Wednesday. This was contained in a statement signed by Clerk of the House, Emeka Amadi, in Port Harcourt. The clerk said the commissioners include Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice, Professor Zacchaeus Andago, Commissioner for Works, Dr. Des George Kelly, Commissioner for Special Duties, Emeka Awoke, among others. The Commissioner for Education, Chinedu Mom, Commissioner for Housing, Gift Wolu, Commissioner for Environment, Austin Ben Chioma, resigned. The Supreme Court sitting in Abuja will on Monday hear the appeal by the All Progressives Congress candidate in Rivers State, Patrick Tonye Cole, against Governor Siminalayi Fubara, the Independent National Electoral Commission, and the ruling People's Democratic Party. Tonye Cole, in his appeal, alleged that Fubara did not resign as Accountant General of the state under the deadline stipulated by the Constitution and the Electoral Act. Also, the National Human Rights Commission, NHRC, says it received 752 complaints of human rights abuse in Plateau between January and November 2023. The coordinator of the commission in the state, Veronica Abe, disclosed in Jos. According to Abe, the cases ranged from unlawful detention, extrajudicial killings, inhumane treatment, and domestic violence to child abuse, adding that 1,053 persons were affected, including 166 women and 463 children. Most of these cases have been treated and concluded, while some are still ongoing. A total of 752 cases of human rights abuse were reported in Plateau between January and November 2023. The coordinator assured that the pending cases would be addressed soon and called on Plateau residents to report cases of abuse to the appropriate authorities for prompt actions. Meanwhile, the National Agency for Food, Drug and Administration Control, NAFDAC, has emphasized the need for efficient and seamless port clearance procedures to achieve best practices within the country. A statement in Abuja by Olusayo Akintola, the agency's media consultant, stated that the Director General of the agency, Professor Mojisola Adeyeye, reiterated the position of the agency in Lagos. Adeyeye took the position at the 2024 training of Port Inspection Directorate Priority Clients and Port Inspection Data Capture and Risk Management System platforms. The NAFDAC boss expressed the need for industry operators to be highly proficient in the use of Port Inspection Data Platform developed by NAFDAC for ease of doing business. You're watching the News Express live from Nigeria's capital, Abuja. We're on Star Times, channel 276. Kindly follow us on all social media platforms using @Global TV NG and other handles now showing on your screen. When the News Express returns, Nigeria's inflation hits 28.92% amid high food prices. The news continues shortly with details of this and more stories right after this break. Please stay with us. Many thanks for staying with us. The Lagos State Commissioner of Police, Fayode Adegoke, has warned that police officers are not permitted to search the phones of any Nigerian. He noted that the police force had a cyber section responsible for that, adding that if a police officer suspected anything, they would take the person to the station so the phone could be searched. Kayode reaffirmed that bail was unrestricted while urging the public to expose corrupt police officers. The UN, for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs, said the number of people fleeing the war in Sudan has surpassed 7.4 million. More than 7.4 million people have been displaced inside and outside Sudan since the fighting broke out between the Sudanese armed forces and the paramilitary Rapid Support Forces on April 15, 2023. According to the UN agency, insecurity, looting, bureaucratic impediment, poor network and phone connectivity, a lack of cash, and limited technical and humanitarian staff are affecting the delivery of aid. It added that the 2024 Sudan Humanitarian Needs and Response Plan appeal is only 3.1% funded as of Sunday. Sudan has been witnessing deadly clashes between the SAF and the RSF since April 15, 2023, which has so far led to more than 12,000 people being killed, according to earlier OCHA estimates. Moving on, as the Port Harcourt oil refinery comes to life, the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited has concluded plans to hand over the government refinery to private operators. The NNPCL said it is seeking to engage reputable and credible operations and maintenance companies to operate and maintain the Port Harcourt Refining Company. This, it said, was to ensure reliability and sustainability towards meeting the nation's fuel supply and energy security obligations. The contract scope shall cover refinery business processes like long-term and short-term production and operations planning, production and operations execution, monitoring, reporting and optimization of operations maintenance execution, health and safety, environmental management, minor projects, among others. Nigeria's annual inflation rate rose to 28.92% in December 2023 from 28.20% in November, the National Bureau of Statistics says Monday. The Statistics Office said the December 2023 headline inflation rate increased by 0.72% compared to the November 2023 headline inflation rate. The NBS said on a year-on-year basis, the headline inflation rate was 7.58% points higher compared to the rate recorded in December 2022, which was 21.34%. Furthermore, the Bureau said on a month-on-month basis, the headline inflation rate in December 2023 was 2.29%, which was 0.20% higher than the rate recorded in November 2023. In sports, Naomi Osaka fell at the first hurdle in her Grand Slam comeback on Monday, losing 6-4, 7-6 to Caroline Garcia in the first round of the Australian Open. A single break proved enough for the French 16th seed to win the opening set against her rusty opponent, and she dominated the second set tie to break in Melbourne. Osaka, who has won 4 Grand Slams, stepped away from tennis in September 2022, citing mental health concerns. Osaka's only competitive tennis before the Australian Open came at this month's Brisbane International, where she lost in the second round to Karolina Pliskova. The two-time Australian Open champion went toe-to-toe with her French opponent at the start of the match. And as we end the Global TV News Express, here's a quick look at some of our top stories. Tinubu led dignitaries to National Arcade for Armed Forces Remembrance Day celebration. JAMB accredited 747 CBT centers. Registration begin today. NAFDAC emphasized need for efficient, seamless port clearance procedures. Torrential rains left at least 11 dead in Brazil. And we also told you policemen not permitted to search citizens' phones. Lagos CP cautioned. And that's it on the News Express. And it came to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. Don't forget, we're on Star Times channel 276. Kindly follow us across all our social media platforms using @GlobalTVNG and other handles now showing on your screen. I'm Queen Agaba. Thank you for watching and see you again.